Joining me now is Article 3 Project founder and president Mike Davis. Mike, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we wanted to talk with you about this because you wrote an op-ed for Fox Business on this. You argue that Novo Nordisk planned this deal on purpose to escape any review by the U.S. government. You got an op-ed on it. What makes you think that, and tell us more?
So Novo Nordisk is a foreign company. It dominates the obesity drugs like Ozempic, and they're trying to buy a New York-based startup company, and it's gonna give them more domination in this market, which is going to hurt consumers, hurt patients, drive up prices, be bad for overall health care. And they're trying to do this by avoiding antitrust scrutiny at the FTC and of national security review at CFIUS, as you talked about in your opening there. The problem is they are doing this through a procedural irregularity. They're trying to essentially pay for the company, but not acquire it, not close the deal to avoid this review. And I think Andrew Ferguson, President Trump's all-star chairman of the Federal Trade Commission, is onto their game.
Well, and all of this as the U.S. makers are trying to come up with new ways to expand their market for this obesity drug and coming up with pill forms, et cetera. How long do you think this review will take, and what's your take on whether or not they'll be able to acquire this American startup?
If they tried to avoid the antitrust review by the Federal Trade Commission, they could get sued, which could get this deal caught up in litigation for months or even years. So it's something that the board of Novo Nordisk should consider before they move forward and try to merge with Metsera.
And what about Pfizer?
Pfizer's another player that tried to make a run to buy Metsera. It's also a big company, but the issue is Pfizer does not have market domination like Novo does, and so that's the issue. It's going to come down to whether the board wants to go through messy litigation with the Federal Trade Commission if Novo tries to acquire Metsera.
I see. Mike, let me switch gears, ask you about the weaponization of government, which we, of course, have had a front row seat on this last 10 years, including the FBI's Arctic Frost investigation, where Jack Smith basically tracked 200 Republicans, including sitting lawmakers. Also, the documents case against President Trump. Judge Eileen Cannon has 60 days to lift her injunction blocking the release of former counsel Jack Smith's files in the case. You write about justice coming for those who perpetrated Operation Arctic Frost. Tell us where you think the conspiracies were.
Well, I think these conspiracies against President Trump started over 8 years ago with Crossfire Hurricane, with the Russian collusion hoax, when the Hillary Clinton campaign made up the Russian collusion hoax to tag President Trump. They got the Justice Department, the Obama Justice Department, to get illegal spy warrants on presidential candidate Donald Trump. They continued to spy on him when he was in office, and then after they chased him out of office in 2020, they opened up Arctic Frost to go after him and his supporters after January 6th to try to destroy President Trump and his MAGA movement permanently. And it's going to backfire on them. There's going to be investigations. I think Pam Bondi's doing a fantastic job, so is Kash Patel, and they're going to get to the bottom of all this.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that we still are waiting for accountability from all of that, right? I mean, you had indictments against Jim Comey, you had a criminal referral against John Brennan. People are really frustrated that we still have not seen any accountability on these dirty tricks. Do you believe we will at the end of the day?
Absolutely. Justice is definitely coming. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are very serious about this. We've already seen these appetizer indictments against Tish James and James Comey. These investigations take time, but I have no doubt that justice is coming.
And in terms of justice coming, you think there'll be jail time?
There should be jail time, because what these lawfare Democrats did to President Trump, his aides and his allies and his supporters, is the biggest scandal in American history. They politicized and weaponized intel agencies and law enforcement to take out their political enemies. That's what you do in communist regimes, not in America. And so they must be held accountable.
I agree with you, and that's why I had to be out front on it and calling it out every step of the way. Mike, we so appreciate you. We're going to talk more about this when you join me on Sunday Morning Futures next Sunday. Thank you, Mike Davis.